around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latram.com. That's Laitram.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Oh, yeah, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you right, Metro New Orleans and beyond. Thanks for checking us out on this Friday afternoon. Taylor Swift and her Swifties are in town. What an economic impact for the city. Tremendous. Tremendous. It is New Orleans. Folks flocking into town to check out Taylor Swift and folks flocking into town to check out the city of New Orleans, the great city of New Orleans. A tourist mecca, a great destination city. 3 big shows tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday night. 60,000 plus expected each and every night. Taylor Swift will perform for over 3 hours each night. And I guess if she's ever like, oh, God, I got to go out there for 3 hours tonight, I just don't feel like it, I'm going to have to Google this. I'm guessing she pulls about somewhere between $5 and $10 million a show. Profit for her. Let's see. We'll ask Google, see what Google thinks. How much money does Taylor Swift make personally for each concert she performs? $13.6 million. Swift reportedly makes about $13.6 million for each performance, according to Forbes. Wow. Taylor Swift's going to pull $40 million herself this weekend. $40 million. Wow. That is absolutely, it's unbelievable. She's going to pull $40 million for these 3 shows in New Orleans. 10 hours of work, $40 million. It's a lot more work than that. It's preparing, it's all the rehearsals, practicing, all that stuff. Unreal. I heard a story from a person I trust. This woman bought 6 tickets at about 450 something bucks each. About $2,800 for 6 tickets. So right away you're like, my God. Nearly $3,000 for 6 tickets to go see Taylor Swift. Somehow she convinced her kids that selling them for $6,000 each or $36,000 and instead we'll go to Europe. The kid said, thumbs up on that one, Mom. Good call. Spends about $2,800 on 6 Taylor Swift tickets to the Dome and resells them for $36,000, $6,000 a ticket. It's unreal. I was just down in the French Quarter a few hours ago with a crew of friends meeting down at Doris Metropolitan for lunch. They're only open on Fridays for lunch. Sat out in the courtyard, absolutely fantastic weather, just perfect. Big bone-in New York strip, fantastic. Some of the best steaks anywhere on planet Earth come from Doris Metropolitan. What is that, down on Charters, I guess? About a block off Jackson Square. Phenomenal. No, the quarter was rocking. Just packed with people. Halloween's next week, so I'd say about a good 1/3 of the folks in the French Quarter dressed up in Halloween outfits. Pretty amazing. Until I went back to my car, which had a parking ticket on it, and I was legally parked on St. Anne. No signage anywhere saying no parking. I was fortunate to get the parking spot. I parked on St. Anne about a block before Bourbon and walked the 3 or 4 blocks to Doris Metropolitan. I was happy to do it. It was like bumper to bumper traffic earlier when I was coming in. Found like this one spot on the entire block. Hell, the one spot on about 6 blocks of St. Anne. I come back to my car and I see the ticket on it, and there's a woman messing with my ticket. And I said, "You can keep that." And she goes, "My car was parked right in front of yours, and it's not here anymore." And the entire row of cars in front of me were gone. Like, my car was next to be towed. There's no signs anywhere on St. Anne saying no parking. There's no temporary signs, the ones that are strung up that, for the next 24 hours or whatever, the dates mention, no park, none of that. And the city of New Orleans is not only ticketing cars, they're towing them. This woman was like some coach. She said she was bringing a team to play soccer down at Thibodeau at like Nicholls State or something. She's like, "What am I going to do now?" I said, "I'd bring you myself, but I have a radio TV program I got to go do. I got a show I got to go do in a little while, So sorry." No, I felt bad. It's just the worst example of New Orleans. I don't know why we do this stuff or why the city of New Orleans does this stuff. You have a huge weekend, the weekend before Halloween. New Orleans is a big Halloween city. There'd be a lot of tourists in town this weekend, even if Taylor Swift wasn't here. But Taylor Swift is here. And now you're going to have dozens and dozens, if not over 100 tourists, mostly, that got their car ticketed at the very least, like me, or worse, towed away. Just, I hate using this word, but the city just whoring themselves out. It's pathetic. It's like the clown car, the van, there'll be a football game at like Tad Gormley on a Friday night. And that clown car, clown van will pull up and 20 meter maids will jump out of it and they start ticketing cars that are parked like by the pumping station on the extension of Florida Boulevard or something, where it totally seems like a legal spot to park. Why on a Friday night would the city care? Why on a Friday night would the city proactively go ticket parents and, folks of kids that are going to watch their children or, backing up their high school, going to a game at Tad Gormley? They're going to go out and ticket cars? No, there's too many examples of that I can name like that. And today's another one. St. Anne in the French Quarter, not a sign anywhere saying no parking. From Rampart to Jackson Square, I'm guessing it's about 100 cars or more. And 2 blocks were cleared out, and my car was next to be towed. No, I leave Doris Metropolitan, maybe 5 minutes later than I did, and my car's towed. It's rude. It's insulting. It's the wrong move. It's bad taste. It's whoring out. It's just pathetic. And it makes people go, you know what? New Orleans is already kind of a dysfunctional city. It's broken. It's potholes, bad sidewalks. It's, you got to take the mentality like I'm in a European city more than an American city. If you do that, it's easier to digest. And then they go out and tow your vehicle. Those people are like never going back to New Orleans. Just puts a real sour taste in somebody's mouth. And these are out-of-towners, tourists coming here to have a good Halloween weekend, checking out Taylor Swift, checking out the city, in the gem of the city, the French Quarter, and their car gets towed. I just don't understand the mentality of the city of New Orleans and this proactive, towing, ticketing, cameras, all that kind of crap. The traffic cameras, it's pathetic. Can't pick up the garbage, can't fix the potholes, dysfunctional government, yet we're as efficient and proactive as it gets when it comes to ticketing cars and towing them and booting them. Just beyond wrong. Sends the worst message. Michael Hecht's going to join us in about 20 minutes from Greater New Orleans Inc. We'll talk about the positives, of course, but I'll bring this up to him because that's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. I felt so bad for this coach and her soccer team. They're not going to make their game tonight because they're going to be dealing for the next few hours with getting their car pulled out of the tow lot, which I guess is over there on Claiborne by St. Louis Cemetery, I'm guessing. Just not right. Thank goodness for refreshing Evermore water on the studio set every day at my house. It's Evermore water. New Orleans' own Evermore. Clearly better water. Sourced only from Evermore's rare, protected artesian aquifer on the North Shore, about 35, 40 miles from the French Quarter, from the Superdome. No, it's pretty amazing. One of the very few natural water sources in the entire country that's naturally alkaline, high in alkaline, untouched water, thousands of years in the making, protected by a thick layer of rock. The first time it hits the air when you open the cap. Evermore's bottling facility sits right on top the source. EVAMOR. Check them out. Evermore.com. Home or office delivery. Evermore.com. Corey Johnson with you. Fridays with Fletcher Mackel next. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Total Maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
You know, Helm Paint and Supply is now in Baton Rouge. They've been in the capital city for over a year. 4 locations in Metro Baton Rouge. And just like New Orleans, high-quality Benjamin Moore paint, free 2-hour delivery of that high-quality Benjamin Moore paint, and all the things you need to get that painting job done right. You're looking for tires or a washer and dryer or food, you're not going to find it at Helm Paint and Decorating. Avoid the big box stores. Avoid the national chains. Go to the local pros. In New Orleans, they've been doing it for over 45 years. 55 years. 55 years. 7 locations in the metro New Orleans area, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore, including Mandeville and Hammond. And free 2-hour delivery in Metro New Orleans, just like Baton Rouge. When you got a paint in Metro Baton Rouge, when you got a paint in Metro New Orleans, do it once, do it right. Helm Paint and Decorating. Corey Johnson with you, Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fletcher Mackel's with us, sports director, sports reporter, sports anchor, WDSU, Channel 6 in New Orleans. What up, Fletch?
Corey, what's up? It's all about Taylor Swift today. So gorgeous weather, economic impact, all that big stuff. I can't look at social media or the news, and so it's kind of a cool thing.
No, it is. It's a big positive. I don't know any Taylor Swift songs. Don't have any of her albums, CDs, whatever. But I'm glad she's here. I'm pro Swiftie. It would have been a big weekend anyway, Fletch, with Halloween and all that in New Orleans. We're a big Halloween tourist destination. But boy, I was just down in the French Quarter at one of your favorite spots, Doris Metropolitan, having lunch with some friends. And about a third of the population's dressed up in Halloween outfits. Swifties everywhere. It's packed.
Yeah, it's great. I know you usually have Michael Hecht on Fridays. You could probably talk to him about, it's great. And again, look, the city looks great. The weather's great. It's one of those things that's fantastic. 3 nights, people coming in from all over, really the world.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's like a little mini, a warm-up for Super Bowl, if you will.
No, if she was playing in Houston, I think you'd have people from the region going to Houston. But New Orleans, you're right. I heard some folks came in from Denver. It's a double dip. You're going to Taylor Swift and you're going to the city of New Orleans. Not knocking Houston, but people aren't flocking to go to Houston as like a tourist spot, you know?
No, look, I'll say this. We've had reporters covering it, and our station's done a really great job, like fanning out around the city in a bunch of different angles. And I saw one of our reporters interview people from Portugal who came in to make it a trip, to say we'd never been to New Orleans before. We wanted to do the double dip, what you just said. We're going to see Taylor, and we're going to visit New Orleans. So, again, it's a win-win.
Yep, no doubt about it. Fletcher Mackel's with us from Channel 6, WDSU Sports. I went on and started the program live going, she probably makes about $5 million a show. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to Google it. And I Google it. Forbes says she makes over $13 million a show, Fletch. So she's going to pull $40 million herself this weekend. $40 million.
Yeah. No, I know. I read something like that earlier. I actually thought it was more than 13. I thought it was closer to 20 at some stops, but it's unbelievable. You're right. She's a force to be reckoned with in entertainment right now.
No, you're probably right. I bet you New Orleans is that's Forbes numbers, probably an average, and not every show is, 60,000 tickets, I'm assuming. So you might be right. She might pull north of 40 million for about 10 hours of work. It's 3 hours plus, I hear, each night she's on the stage. 3 hours plus. That's a lot.
Yeah, and look, I read like Keith Farah. I think he does a great job with the music and everything. And look, her show they take it seriously, and it's, everybody who goes talks about how great she is as a performer and on stage. So, I think people are going to be raving about it. And again, look, I'm just glad for the city of New Orleans that we've got like that postcard perfect weather that, it's not raining, it's not overcast, it's just literally is like Chamber of Commerce stuff here. So it's fantastic.
No, you're right. People are in shorts and T-shirts. A lot of people dressed up in Halloween outfits. So, yeah, perfect weather. Jackson Square was beautiful. No doubt about it. Not to be a sourpuss, but I get back to my car. There's a ticket on it. Every car in front of me is towed. I'm next. It just I don't know. There's no signage saying no parking on St. Anne, and they're just ticketing and towing cars. I don't get the city of New Orleans' mentality, Fletch. That's just going to sour, if not dozens and dozens, maybe north of 100 people that got their car towed. Like, I'm not coming back to New Orleans, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that does kind of stink. I mean, and I get it. I know it's a double-edged sword. You can't park illegally in the quarter and stuff, but still, I hate to see people get their cars towed.
It was unmarked. There was no signage, no temporary signage. I mean, I felt fortunate to find a spot. I get back, my car's the only one on the block, basically, and like two behind me, the whole row in front of me towed. I was like, it's just wrong. Sends a bad message. Hey, what's wrong? My God. The Saints with the injuries and the Pelicans. Murray, out for about 2 months with the broken hand, huh?
Yeah, they announced today 4 to 6 weeks. And so he had surgery. He posted on his Instagram page, and then the Pelicans sent out an update. But, yeah, I mean, talk about being snake bitten, man. I mean, the Saints haven't had this kind of rash of injuries in years and years, if ever, post-Katrina. I mean, we may have to go – I've covered this team 22 years now. In 21, they dealt with a lot of injuries, but nothing like this. And so, yeah, the Saints are decimated. And look, that's not the reason why they've lost 5 straight, but it certainly hasn't helped them finding any type of rhythm and winning or getting out of that slump. And then the Pelicans have a ton of talent, like really talented team. And DeJounte Murray is a guy that can kind of galvanize them and bring it all together. He has a great second half in his first game, and now he's got a broken hand. So, yeah, I know that, we joked about it. The dome and the arena are built on like an old, I think, burial ground.
Yeah, yep. And cemetery.
You start to do, I know that, the conspiracy theorists and kind of the silliness of social media of, are they cursed? But I mean, man, oh man, they've had some really bad luck this fall with injury.
I would say the 5-game losing streak you could blame on injuries. 3/5 of your offensive line, 2 wide receivers. It's ridiculous the amount of injuries the Saints have sustained.
Let me say this. Here's the thing. The last 2 games, yes. I mean, look, they were basically full strength when they played the Eagles and lost. They were basically full strength when they played the Falcons and got walked off. And they were basically full strength when they played the Chiefs and were just kind of outclassed by the Super Bowl champs. The last 2 games I'll give you, obviously, with a rookie quarterback. And look, I get it. Kansas City, they were banged up on the offensive line. Carr was running for his life, and that's probably why he got hurt. But I don't know if they were right there toe-to-toe with Philly. They were right there toe-to-toe with Atlanta. So I can't say injuries led to those losses. Kansas City, I could go back and forth on, but I still think the Chiefs are a much better team top to bottom. The last 2 games I'll give you because of injury, starting rookies all over the offensive line and at quarterback. And so the last 2 games, I feel like that's why they haven't been able to snap out of it, is because they're so decimated.
Tulane's at it tomorrow morning, an 11 a.m. kickoff at North Texas. Both teams are 5-2. I doubt John Summerall's overlooking North Texas.
This is a trap game. I told you, so far, Tulane is the class of the American, and I think they're going to end up winning the American and possibly going to that new expanded playoff. But this is a trap game, and I mean that. North Texas leads the league in almost every offensive category. They are putting up a ton of points, and they cannot be overlooked. I know North Texas isn't some renowned football traditional powerhouse, but they're really good this year. And this is a game that Tulane is going to need to play their best in, because they haven't. Last week, they didn't play their best against Rice. They forced 5 turnovers, but it was far from perfect. They're just a better team. They're going to need to play much better this week.
Not only is Tulane in Texas, 8th ranked LSU at 14th ranked Texas A&M. Both teams are 6-1. SEC supremacy. Whoever wins this game will sit atop the Southeastern Conference undefeated.
Yeah, this is it. This is the game of the week. I mean, this is two programs, the only two unbeatens left in the SEC. I think LSU is the better team. But look, Texas A&M isn't a fluke undefeated. So I think it's going to be another challenge for Brian Kelly's team. But I've been saying all along, I think LSU is a legit playoff team, too. I picked LSU and Tulane to both make the playoff, and I stand by that. Even after LSU's hiccup in week 1, Brian Kelly's a good coach who knows how to keep things together, stabilize, and learn, and they've done it every year. I know it's on the road, and A&M's an insanely hard place to play. And LSU's had some epic games there, that 7 overtime game, but I still I'm a big Nussmeier guy. I like what they're doing, and I still think they're the better team.
Sunday afternoon, it's a late kickoff, 3:05 in Los Angeles, the Saints at the Chargers. Do they end the 5-game losing streak? Only 10 games left.
Yeah, I don't think so, unfortunately. Look, Chargers are salty, coming off a tough loss on Monday night. They got walked off in Arizona. Harbaugh's a really good coach. They got some talent. J.K. Dobbins, their running back. The Saints haven't been able to stop the run, and they got a running back that is lighting it up right now. Spencer Rattler's still playing quarterback. Is a rookie. I think he's got potential, but he's still young, and they can still confuse him and throw a lot of unseen stuff at him. So I'd like to believe the Saints are going to win this game, but I think the Saints are on a 6-game losing streak and then finally get a win in Charlotte next weekend.
Wow. Fletch, your electric bike is calling your name.
I rode it today, Corey. It's amazing weather for it.
It really is. It's nice weather. Fletch, you're the man. See you next week.
All right.
That's Fletcher Mackel, WDSU Channel 6 Sports. Joining us on a Friday, a Fantasy Friday, Fridays with Fletch. We do it every Friday at 4:20. I love getting Fletch on because he's ridiculously knowledgeable about sports and the city and isn't scared to give opinions, and they're informed opinions, not some crazy stuff trying to get some looks or tweets or whatever. Coming right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Dave Mead Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Mead, insagency.com. Dave Mead Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Mead, insagency.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Every Friday, Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. joins us. Every Friday, this segment brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant. Michael, I say if we had like a dozen Latrims, we'd have the economy of like Austin or Charlotte or Nashville, wouldn't we?
If we had a dozen Latrims and maybe like 4 or 5 Taylor Swifts and Super Bowls a year, we'd be set. We'd be good.
Geez, I was down in the Quarter today. It is electric down there. I mean, it'd be a big weekend anyway because New Orleans is sort of a Halloween tourist destination, especially the Quarter. But with the Taylor Swift 3 shows, it is just incredible. About a third of the population's in Halloween outfits. It's jam-packed. The Quarter right now is on fire in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, between those things and this weather, it must be in like the low 80s. I mean, it is. It feels like a Saints home game times 10. It's fun to see, and I'm getting, a lot of compliments about the condition of the Quarter, and it looks good, and it feels good, and it smells good, and that's great to see because a lot of people put a lot of effort into making that happen.
Yeah, and it's beyond our control, but boy, the weather's cooperating. You just mentioned it. It might be 80 degrees. We wake up into the 60s. Hard to find a cloud in the sky. Little breeze blowing. Perfect.
Yeah, no, it's it's nice, and we should soak it in and use it as encouragement that we can keep doing it. Somebody texted me the other day. They said, Poydras Street's so smooth now. I'm almost scared to drive down it. Don't feel like I'm driving.
I rolled a marble from Claiborne, and it ended up at the aquarium.
You could definitely do that. I think that I might go out there with some inline skates one night just to show it can be done. I don't want to encourage it, but I'm not particularly good on the skates, but it's fun to see. It's rewarding. And my personal pothole, that got fixed. Now I just got to do some mill work on top of it. So, yeah, it's possible, Corey. We're showing that it is.
Yeah, no, the Super Bowl it is a great thing to have, but it's great what you guys did with it over at Greater New Orleans Inc. and the city of New Orleans and Jeff Landry. Let's get our you-know-what together in anticipation of this Super Bowl. Use the Super Bowl as a reason to fix a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the Super Bowl is forcing function. That's what it is.
And you've mentioned this, the World's Fair 40 years ago. 40 years ago. There's still some infrastructure improvements that exist from that. So Super Bowl, I'm assuming, is going to be the same kind of thing where we'll enjoy the new things, the fixed and repaired things for years, even decades to come.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's been interesting, Corey, is we've gone around and developed our punch list on things that need to be fixed up. Some of the infrastructure that we've tagged and say, oh, that's broken or that needs to be repaired. The person says, well, yeah, that was done for 1984 for the fair.
Yep.
So, so I always get the question, is this lipstick on the pig? I said, no, this is not just cosmetic. We're basically doing, a decade of deferred maintenance in 6 months, getting it ready. But yeah, we'll benefit for the decade to come. So this is not just come and go. This is mostly permanent improvements, permanent beautification.
Yeah, it's not lipstick on a pig. It's not a tuxedo on a cockroach. It's for stuff that's going to last a long, long time. That's long overdue.
What was that expression? What on a cockroach?
Tuxedo on a cockroach.
I've never heard that one. I like that though.
It's like the lipstick on a pig gimmick. Same.
I get it. No, I get it. I get it.
I hope you get it. Ivy League educated. That would be a big waste of money. Hey, speaking of money, I assumed, I started the show, I'm like, Taylor Swift must make $5-10 million a show. I Googled it. According to Forbes, north of $13 million a show. She makes personally. She's going to pull $40 million this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I admire that she's able to go out every night and put on, a really energetic, tight 3 hours. But then again, Corey, if I told you that I want you to go out and perform, I'm going to pay $4 million for every hour you perform, you would shake your moneymaker, right?
I would strip to full nakedness if it required that for $4 million an hour. Are you kidding me?
I mean, let me put it this way, you've done more for less.
I've done a lot more for a lot less. I've paid and done a lot more. I've paid, yeah. Wow, 13 plus million a show. That's incredible. But, what's the economic impact from this, Michael? It's got to be 150 mil. It's or north of there, I would guess.
Yeah, I don't know what the number is, but the immediate economic impact will be greater than the Super Bowl, I think, because you have many more people. Like you probably have 250,000 people in total coming through for the show. Just doing the math, you got 3 times 75,000. That's 2.25 right there.
Wow.
Now the Super Bowl has a much greater impact over time, and also the people that are coming in are super high rollers. But mostly it's because you're reaching 200 million people around the world.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's the impact is seismic, and I don't know. I don't know if we're at peak Taylor. We might be, but I'm glad that we're here for the view.
No, me too. I'm a Swiftie. I couldn't name a song. I'm not going to any of the shows, but I'm pro Taylor Swift just by the CBD French Quarter warehouse district right now. Just like I said, electric. There's a great positive vibe going on, coupled with this weather. Tough to beat.
Yeah, tough to beat. And, it's moments like this where, one, you realize this is why you live in New Orleans and South Louisiana, but also as I'm getting the compliments coming in about the condition of the downtown and the condition of the quarter, it also makes you realize, again, what you and I have always said, that we can take our general basic infrastructure and, we're not talking about making it Dallas or Singapore, but just bringing it up to a nice B plus level, then the sky's the limit. And I think that's what we're trying to do, and we're showing that it can be done.
Yep. No, the sky really, truly is the limit if we do that. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. One sour note, maybe you can call you boys down in the 8th District. I went to Doris Metropolitan today with some friends for lunch. They're only open on Friday for lunch, apparently. Had a great New York strip. That's an incredible place. One of 100 great restaurants in our city. I get back to my car on St. Anne. No signage saying no parking. Every car in front of me was towed, including this coach who was bringing her team to like Thibodeau to play a soccer match. I'm telling her how to get her car out of the tow lot and what number to call. And all this. I was just very soured on that.
No, that's terrible. So you're talking about St. Anne. So you were like one street uptown from Dory's, right on the corner, right?
Oh, I had to park a few blocks away. I was fortunate to find a spot. It was bumper to bumper traffic. All of a sudden I see an open spot. I pulled in it and parked. Every single spot was taken from Rampart to Jackson Square. I was the block before Bourbon on St. Anne, about 3 blocks from Jackson Square. And I get back and every car in front of me is gone. My car has a ticket on it. And then I was talking to the soccer coach, and my car was going to be towed next.
Yeah, I'll find out about that. What did the ticket say? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, 2 things. One, the soccer coach lady was pulling the ticket off the windshield, I guess, to find a number to call. And I was walking up. I was like, you keep that thing. And then she pulled it off and handed it to me, and I just crumbled it up and threw it on the floor of my car. So I have no idea what that ticket says.
Yeah, I'll find out. So it's the 400. So it's the block of St. Anne right before Bourbon.
Yeah, exactly. And every car in front of me was gone, and I was next.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
And no signage saying no parking. I don't know, Michael. That just, first off, let's pretend there were signs, and there weren't. Why would there be? Why would you make it no parking when you allow parking 365 days a year in that spot? I don't get it. I mean, French Quarter Fest, you can park there. I don't get it. I really don't. I think you got dozens of people, maybe north of 100, that are like, screw New Orleans, I'm not coming back. It just sours people, I think.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, we'll look into that.
Yeah, what are you getting? It's a $120 ticket or something, then maybe a few $100 to get the city made $300 a car. Just, not a good look. Hey, speaking of good looks, any good economic news on the horizon or that's happening or happened?
Golly, so I'm trying to think. What announcements have we not talked about yet that we've had recently? Did we talk about Swaybox and what they just got out of Jefferson?
No, which Swaybox?
So Swaybox is an animation company, started as a puppeteering company in Shreveport. They're the ones that did an ad for the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yep.
And they just got picked up by DC and Marvel to do the first full-length kind of animatronic film about Batman and Robin.
Wow.
So it's kind of a big deal, for them. And so, yeah, they're in Elmwood, which is really in Jefferson, although it somehow has a New Orleans postcode.
Yep.
But,
yep.
Yeah, so that's exciting for them. And then let's see, the governor has reported that he's going on a trip to Asia next week. I can't talk about it yet, but it's he's going there to do some prospecting. They're going to announce it, but that's exciting. A lot of good, aggressive economic development happening at the state level again.
Hang on, Michael. I'm going to knock out a quick break. I'll give you a chance to think about it because I know there's probably some other economic news. We'll come back after this quick break and do another few minutes. How's that sound?
That's good. I'm good till about 4:55.
All right. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. on this Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Coming right back. A few more minutes with Michael Hecht. Don't go anywhere.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's. On Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana, legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Michael Hecht with us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. Hey, Michael, I don't know if this is the greatest weather month in the history of the city, but it's got to be the greatest October on record. We've had like 2.5, 3 weeks straight of 60s in the morning, maybe 80 in the afternoon, sunny, no rain. And if you look on pretty much any weather website, it looks like it continues. Just fantastic weather. It makes you want to get outside in the metro area.
Oh, yeah. This has been, I don't think we've had, it's been just spectacular from early in the month right through. And, San Diego weather with the culture of New Orleans, unfreaking beatable.
Yep.
And then, I saw the Taylor Swift merchandise lines this morning. It looked like getting into Epcot Center at 10 a.m. to buy $40 T-shirts.
Yep.
Insane.
Yep. No, it is insane. Hey, Michael, going into the break, you were mentioning the governor going to Asia to bring in some business. I'll take anything. I kind of think, the industrial stuff on the river, we kind of get that by default. There's only so many places in the U.S. that are kind of I don't want to say the back door of the country or, the industrial corridor, but they're only a handful. So we're going to get that stuff by default. I'm hoping that it could be maybe some white collar CBD or metro area based companies and not just like some company that's, producing a chemical or oil and gas or something on the river.
Well, I think, I think that there's kind of a both and. approach maybe. So, if you look at like South Korea as a country, what's nice about South Korea is that it's very relationship based. So if we form a deep relationship with them, it's going to lead from one thing to another. And the second is that they've got everything from heavy industry to high tech. So they're not a bad partner to have. It's manageable size, and they could potentially lead to kind of all of the above. When I look at the stuff that I know is in the pipeline for the state, some of the stuff is regular old heavy industry. Some of it's energy transition, kind of new energy stuff. And some of it's, way at the cutting edge of AI and stuff like that. So I just think what you're going to see is that, frankly, after a number of years of us being kind of in coast mode, we're back in very, very aggressive economic development mode as a state. And for me, anyway, it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Michael, before I let you go, you mentioned Elmwood earlier. The other night I was at the bar at Houston's getting a bite to eat. To my left was Mayor LaToya Cantrell, who just couldn't shut up, just yapping the entire time. And then to my right, Conway Solomon sat down next to me. He's got a company that employs about 30 people over in Elmwood, does an incredible job.
Yeah, well, that's like the cantina scene from Star Wars, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And, I think what we're seeing is that at the end of the day, we're proving in New Orleans that, we can just do it for ourselves. We're getting it done. And I'm very proud of everybody who's putting their shoulder in and turning out, for a great weekend for Taylor Swift and doing such a great job getting us ready for the Super Bowl.
Yep. Yeah. Those Solomon boys, man. The dad has the bank. One son's lighting up the dome in the Mississippi River Bridge. The other's in the tech. It's pretty incredible. And they love New Orleans. They could be doing this in another city and probably making more money, but they're loyal.
No, they're loyal. And look, it's unusual. I mean, that you have this many generations of entrepreneurship, right? Usually, the grandfather makes all the money as he did with the movie centers, and then everybody else kind of rides on those coattails. But this family is still hungry, which is a credit to the culture, I guess, even in the family, right?
No, it is. You're so right. They're not lazy. They're motivated. They act like they have nothing, and they create something big. It's pretty impressive. Miguel, always a pleasure, brother. Enjoy this great weekend.
Enjoy it as well. Have a great time at the show, Corey.
I'm front row. I spent $20,000 on tickets.
Oh, my God.
I don't even, is it Eros? I don't even know. So.
Eros. It's definitely not Eros.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
No, I'll be hitting like some Metairie restaurants, maybe Trey Inn in Mandeville. I did Doris today. It's crowded down there, man. It's the CBD and the French Quarter and the Warehouse District are packed. If you're not going to Taylor Swift or Halloween stuff, maybe go somewhere else in the metro.
You and I can go hook up at Hurricanes. I'll see you on the boulevard.
See you on Vets. Oh, boy. That's Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. joining us. He does that every Friday. That segment's always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant. Incredible company, a culture of innovation at Latrim, and they're hiring. If you're looking for a job, if you're looking for a career, it's Friday. Go into the weekend the right way. Go to the Latrim website right now and see what jobs they're offering. What a great way to start the weekend. For a full listing of positions available, go to Latrim.com. Latrim is spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. Corey Johnson with you, Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Boy, that 4 o'clock hour flew by. Couple of segments with Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. We started things off with Fletcher Mackel, Fridays with Fletch, seeing what's going on with LSU, Tulane, the Pels, the Saints, all that good stuff. And talking about other stuff. We're just getting cranked up. 5 o'clock power hour is in front of us. Frank Brigsten is going to join us from his world-class restaurant in the Riverbend in the Carrollton neighborhood in just a few minutes. Hey, every day on radio, on television, on YouTube, this program brought to you by Total Maintenance, your honest Air conditioning and heating experts that come immediately. What more do you need? Seriously. In an air conditioning and heating operation, what more do you need? You want honest folks that are experts at what they do that come immediately because your AC or heat's not working. In New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, same website, think Total Maintenance, tm-ac.com. tm-ac.com. That's Total Maintenance. And that's Blue Boy barking up a storm. What's that, buddy? Tell folks to stick around because the 5 o'clock powwow is next. Good boy, Blue Boy. Good boy.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333.
Down, buddy. We got a legal ID to do.
NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Good boy.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans' grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Guy Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business and the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family-owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce. Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 25 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens. Delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. 5 o'clock power hour on a Fantasy Friday. Tough to beat this very moment. Boy, tough to beat this outstanding weather that has been with us for weeks and looks like it's continuing for at least another week or so. I saw a possibility of rain like next Thursday. Maybe, maybe not. All I really saw was a bunch of, sun, little emblems, blue sky, 60s to start the day, maybe hitting 78, 79, 80 in the afternoon. Glorious weather. Get outside and enjoy it. Hey, the 5 o'clock whistle. Toot, toot. Brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. What a great spot. Now, I think there are going to be some Swifties, some tourists in town for the Halloween weekend at Katie's. No doubt about it. Katie's is on the kind of countrywide map. USA Today had an article about a year or so ago. Top 10 restaurants you must go to get the real New Orleans experience. And it was all different price points. USA Today, national publication. Katie's was on that list because it truly is the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Old school, serving New Orleans specialties and big portions, great for sharing. A mid-city mainstay, it's Katie's, Iberville, corner Tallahassee. The 5 o'clock whistle on a Friday, always brought to you by Katie's. As New Orleans as it gets. It truly is as New Orleans as it gets. Like I said, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. The weekend's upon us. The Swifties are taking over the city, the CBD, the French Quarter, the Warehouse District, coupled with Halloween's next week. This is kind of the Halloween weekend. New Orleans is a Halloween city destination. People are like, man, well, I want to travel somewhere for the Halloween night or Halloween weekend. New Orleans is definitely one of those spots. I mean, I envy the economies of Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, Austin, Nashville. Not major tourist destinations, maybe Nashville a little bit, but I don't know too many folks that, hey, we're going to plan our vacation and go to Houston or Dallas or Austin or Nashville or Charlotte or Atlanta. I remember Ray Nagin had a second house outside of Dallas. I'm like, who has a second house outside of Dallas? Seriously. Who would have a second house outside of Houston? You better be making money there. It's not a place you go to vacation or hang out. Not a lot of culture in any of those places I mentioned. Nashville barely has some culture, and it's slowly but surely fading away if you talk to the locals. No, New Orleans, it is culture overload. It is a tourist destination city. It's where people want to go, have a great weekend, great music clubs, great bars, incredible restaurants, lots of history and architecture. And then coupled with this weather, my God, almost impossible to beat. Almost impossible to beat. I was down in the French Quarter today. Met some friends at Doris Metropolitan for lunch. Just the vibe in the quarter is unbelievable. I posted a little video at Jackson Square on my Twitter. Band playing, folks running around, very crowded. Lots of folks having a good time. About a third of the people I saw dressed in Halloween outfits. Literally about 1 out of 3. Just a great vibe. And these Swifties, I'm pro Taylor Swift. I couldn't name a song. It's kind of younger generation kind of thing. But my God, I am pro Taylor Swift. The economic impact is going to be immense. There are not only people that are in from the region that like a concert would normally draw, it's folks from all across the country, even some folks from out of the country. No, they're like, I want to go see Taylor Swift. They look at all the tour dates. They're like, am I going to go to Denver or Houston or Seattle or something like that? Or am I going to go to New Orleans, a tourist destination city where there's so much to do besides the show. So it is packed. 3 shows tonight, tomorrow night, Sunday night, all at the Caesars Superdome. They're expecting north of 60,000 a show. Taylor Swift's going to perform for 3 hours plus each show. She's going to earn that $13 million she makes each show. That's right. I Googled it last hour live on the program because I was like, I bet you she makes $5 to $10 million a show. I was like, well, why don't we Google this? According to Forbes, Taylor Swift makes north of $13 million a show. So for the 3 shows this weekend in New Orleans, Taylor Swift herself will take home about $40 million. $40 million. Just mind-blowing. I think last year, $1 billion plus in tickets sold. $1 billion plus in tickets sold. So it makes sense that she's going to pull $13 million plus a show, according to Forbes. Anyway, a really great vibe in the city. The weather is tough to beat. Just a grand slam home run going on right now in New Orleans. If you're in or around New Orleans, it's just the CBD, the French Quarter, the Warehouse District are slammed. You can jump into that party and enjoy yourself, or, maybe you go to some metro area restaurants like Trey Yen on the North Shore. Perfect weekend to go to Trey Yen. There'll be a few Swifties in there, but it won't be many because it's in Mandeville. Those folks are going to stay downtown, CBD, Warehouse District, French Quarter primarily. Now, I promise you go to Trey Yen tonight, there'll be a handful of folks that traverse the causeway, traverse the lake, headed to Mandeville to check out some of the best Chinese cuisine in the country. Trey Yen in Mandeville. Don't take my word for it. Google it. Pull up like top 50 Chinese restaurants in America. Just these arbitrary lists that are done nationwide. Chances are Trey Yen's on that list. The Wong brothers have been at it for over 45 years. And I'll tell you a little secret about Trey Yen. One of the best seafood restaurants in the metro New Orleans area. Absolutely fantastic, tough to beat. And on a weekend like this, where you got Taylor Swift in town for 3 nights in a row, and maybe the CBD, the Warehouse District, the French Quarter, not the best place to go. Plus, some restaurants are going to be crowded like in Old Metairie in uptown New Orleans as well, because those folks aren't going to be heading down to some spots in the CBD, Warehouse District, and French Quarter. So really a perfect night to head across the lake and go to Trey Yen. I'll toss out one more suggestion for you. Lebanon's Cafe on Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. That's away from the tourists. That's away from the French Quarter, the CBD, and the Warehouse District. They're open till 9:30. And with weather like this, take advantage of Lebanon's Cafe's outdoor dining right on the streetcar line on Carrollton, where it's one lane. Under the oak trees, in between Claiborne's and the River Bend. Dine outside tonight at Lebanon's Cafe. There's a couple of suggestions for you. You'll be able to get in. You can get a reservation if you want. Probably won't even need one. No, Lebanon's has a big dining room plus, 30, 40 seats outside. Trey Yen must seat 150, like 3 levels. To the left, to the right, and then the jacked up center part of the restaurant. No, and the seafood at Trey Yen. One of the best seafood restaurants anywhere. Yeah, Trey Yen, Lebanon's Cafe. There's 2 suggestions. Totally different food, totally different cuisine. Some of the best Chinese food anywhere. Some of the metro area's best Middle Eastern food. Can't go wrong, and you won't get bogged down with all the tourists and Swifties and folks in for the Halloween weekend. 2 good suggestions. Boy, a little disappointed today. I mentioned I went to Doris Metropolitan. That wasn't disappointing at all. One of the best steaks you can get anywhere, Doris Metropolitan over there on Charters, about a block from Jackson Square. Met about half dozen friends over there. Great lunch. They're only open for lunch on Friday. I park on St. Anne Street with hundreds of other vehicles, maybe 100 vehicles from Rampart to Jackson Square. I walk back to my car. Every car in front of me is gone. There's a woman pulling a ticket off my car. I was like, keep it. She says, my car was parked in front of you. I'm a coach. I got a soccer team. We got a match in Thibodaux. What do I do? And I gave her the tow lot number. The city of New Orleans ticketing people, towing people off St. Anne, maybe other parts of the quarter. There's no sign saying no parking. Just a really bad move by the city. I think it just sours tourists. You come to New Orleans to have a good time. Things are going perfectly right now. You walk back to your car and it's towed. Just kind of the city whoring themselves out. New Orleans, you got to do better than that. You got to do better than that. I mean, during French Quarter Fest, you can legally park on St. Anne. Again, no sign saying no parking. Yet my car was next to be towed. I mean, 10 minutes later, maybe I get there and my car is towed. Just really sends a bad message to the tourists, like where they're saying, man, I don't want to go back to New Orleans now. Pretty petty, ridiculous, cheap money grab. Hey, Frank Brigsten joins us next. Don't move.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Hey, every day this program on radio, on television, on YouTube, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner. You looking to pick up a Ford vehicle, maybe an F-150 truck? Go to the big store, Lamarck Ford, I-10 at Williams in Kenner, brah. Or if you're looking for a commercial vehicle, Crescent City Ford, for over 80 years now under the Lamarck umbrella. They're on Jefferson Highway in Elmwood. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner, and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway in Elmwood. Boy, it is tough to beat this place. This restaurant could be in San Francisco, in New York, in Paris, in Barcelona, and it would be one of that city's best restaurants, just like it is here in New Orleans. Frank Brigsten joins us from his gem in the Riverbend. Brigtsen's on Dante Street, right off Leak Avenue, right off River Road. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing great. TGIF. Happy Swifty Friday.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I couldn't name a Taylor Swift song, but I'm pro Taylor Swift. The French Quarter, the CBD, the Warehouse District is packed. I'm assuming you're booked up tonight.
Oh, yeah, we're busy, and we've had quite a few visiting Swifties in. Last night I met a few. It was just so much fun, man. There's so much joy in the streets right now, happiness. I'm just loving it.
Me too.
Ringo Starr described this as this generation's Beatlemania, and I totally agree with that.
As far as Taylor Swift and her fans?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the teenagers in those concerts. I mean, they're screaming at the top of their lungs and crying tears of joy, just like the audience at the Ed Sullivan Show, you know?
No, you're right. That Ringo's on to something. I did a little research, and she earns it. They sold $1 billion in tickets last year. Taylor Swift makes $13 million a performance.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
That's amazing. That is amazing.
She's going to pull $40 million this weekend in New Orleans herself. $40 million.
That's great, man. And, you know, I remember I saw Taylor Swift once, Corey. It was 2006.
Wow.
Yes. It was a few months before her first album came out. And I got the privilege of riding in the Saints Super Bowl parade in the French Quarter. I was on the float with the Louisiana Restaurant Association float, and the guy riding next to me was Saints legend Pat Swilling, and I was in the first position, neutral ground side. We were coming down Decatur from Esplanade, and the parade stopped for about 30 minutes just before we got to Jackson Square and Cafe Du Monde. Well, there in front of Cafe Du Monde on the smallest stage, looked like tabletops really, was Taylor Swift singing her heart out.
Wow.
And a lot of people in the float weren't really paying attention, but I was, because I knew who she was, and it was fabulous, man. And that's why I admire her, because she starts from such a humble beginning. You know, this was a 13-year-old writing songs on the guitar in her bedroom, you know, and I just think she's a good person. She takes care of her people, you know, huge bonuses for all her truck drivers and everything. And the energy in town right now is unbelievable.
No, it really is. And then you throw in this weather. How can we do any better than this?
Yeah, you're right about that. I saw some clips of Bourbon Street last night after the show, and there in front of the Royal Sonesta was a big karaoke party going on.
Wow.
And this is Bourbon Street, and there's hundreds of people, and there's like 12 or 14-year-olds in the middle of the street singing Taylor Swift songs. It was so cool.
All right, so some Swifties roll into Brightson's tonight with their parents. What are they dining on, Frank?
Well, we had my favorite Swifties I met last night. Corey was two moms and their two daughters from California.
Unreal.
And I know, and the girls could not have been more than 7 years old. And they got steaks for dinner. The moms had to cut the steaks, but they got steaks for dinner. Sauce on the side, okay, no problem. And they started with gumbo and butternut shrimp bisque. You know, first time at Brightson, maybe first time to New Orleans. That's what I'd start with. Filet gumbo, butternut shrimp bisque, maybe the barbecue shrimp to share, and you know, get some fish while you're here. Eat some seafood. We've got this grilled redfish with smoked corn sauce. We're getting beautiful speckled trout from Virginia right now. Speckled trout meuniere with roasted pecans. Delicious, classic. Sold a bunch of that last night. We're still running our pumpkin spice bread pudding, which will be running through next Thursday, Halloween. And we'll switch to something else after that. So we got a lot of good stuff going on. I've got, you know, I do marinated white anchovies in my Caesar salad, and I couldn't get any for about a week. So I put fried calamari on top of the Caesar salad, which is delicious.
Nice.
So we got our anchovies back in today, and I have leftover calamari. So I made a new appetizer. Tempura fried Rhode Island calamari with pineapple pomegranate sweet and sour sauce, garnished with a little pineapple relish, fresh pineapple. And this is nice. You know, to me, squid is all about texture. There's not a lot of flavor there. So this tempura batter comes out really a nice crunch, a light batter, but crunchy. And this sweet and sour sauce is just killer.
That is amazing. I was about to say, how do you come up with this? But you're Frank Brigsten. That's how you come up with it. But
I know. A guy asked me today, how'd you come up with this? I said, well, circumstances.
It's what I do. It's what I do. Yeah, I've got a little stroke at Brightson's, believe it or not. And I was sitting at the chef's. Yeah, I know some people over there. And I was sitting at the chef's table at Two Top in the hallway about a year ago. And this couple from Los Angeles was in there, and they started talking to me about what to order. And I was like, I gave suggestions. I was like, ask the waitstaff, because they're incredible. They're not trying to push stuff like to get rid of. There's nothing they're trying to get rid of. It's all great. And it was their first night in town, and that's where they stopped. And I was like, y'all pretty much have peaked out, you know?
Yeah, right. Thank you.
And they were from L.A. too. I mean, I love that California folks are coming to New Orleans for this concert. I love that California folks are doing their homework. They're not going to Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. They're going to Brightson's, off the beaten path. That's got to make you feel good, Frank.
Oh, it really does. And this was their first night in town. And yeah, they obviously have done their research and found us and took a trip out of the quarter, which was good because they get to see, you know, the real New Orleans, so to speak. Maybe they drove down St. Charles and saw the Skeleton House at State Street.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah, of course. That's incredible.
Yeah. Terror Swift tour.
Yeah, every year they've got new additions.
You know, I mean, Halloween is a big holiday in New Orleans over the last 20 years especially. There's the Crew to Boo parade last weekend, but people love to dress up. They love to just, throw their cares to the wind and have a little escapism, and Halloween and the Terrace tour all together is going to be wild.
Yep, no doubt. Frank Brigsten's with us for a couple of more minutes. Hey, Frank, someone rolls in tonight, a local. What should they get from starter to entree to dessert?
Well, I still would say the butternut shrimp bisque. The white shrimp right now are so beautiful, fresh off the boat, literally, sweet, full flavored. The sweetbreads have been selling good this week. Veal sweetbreads with mushrooms, capers, lemon roasted garlic butter.
That's an appetizer, right?
Yeah, that's always on. And for those who like sweetbreads, you got to try this. We had someone last night order it as an entree with potatoes and veg. I love that. And then the pork chop's been selling like crazy, too. I had to bring in 4 more racks of pork today. Pan-seared pork chop, cooked to order, with sauteed spinach and Creole mustard sauce. Simple preparation, absolutely delightful. Really hearty dish, tenderest, juiciest pork chop you'll ever eat.
And dessert's pretty simple, Call, I think, for the night.
Yes. It starts with a P.
Yep. Got to go with the Halloween angle.
Pecan pie, pumpkin spice bread pudding, lemon icebox creme brulee, or double chocolate cake.
Wow. Those last two don't start with a P, but who's being picky here?
Get one of each. Everybody take a couple of bites.
No doubt. Frank, any openings tonight or tomorrow night, or you're pretty booked up?
We are booked, but don't hesitate because people's plans change with the intensity of people downtown. Inevitably, there's going to be somebody that can't get out of the quarter.
Yep.
They can't cross Canal Street. Something's going to happen at the last minute. So give us a call. Marna's on the phone right now. We'll try to get you in here.
Yeah, I always say, especially if you got your usual spot, the neighborhood restaurant that you can always go to that you like, call Brigsten's before you go because maybe they have an opening.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
861-7610 is the phone number. 861-7610. That's Brigsten's in the Carrollton section of New Orleans, uptown, Riverbend. Frank, always a pleasure, brother. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Corey. Have a happy, safe, fun Halloween, y'all. I'll see you in November.
Yep, there's Frank Brigsten joining us on the program once again like he does every single week. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Coming right back.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Home Flood Business, 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, Home, Flood Business, 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Here at the No Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. Uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. It's like home.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Jeff Duncan, Times-Picayune sports writer, been covering the Saints for decades. He's a Louisville native who moved to New Orleans like 25 years ago and just embraced the city, fell in love with it. He has a post on Twitter. His Twitter account is at Jeff Duncan with a underscore at the end. Swifties discovering the indisputable truth that NFL/Super Bowl fans have known for decades. New Orleans is the greatest big event town in America. It is so true. It is so true. Nowhere even comes close. Nowhere even comes close. And there's lots of reasons, but I think the main reason is the compactness of the city. It's a 300-year-old city. So the heart of our city is the French Quarter. And right next door to the French Quarter is the Central Business District, which has about 40,000 hotel rooms. 40,000. Then you have this new neighborhood, I say new, 30 years old, 40 years old, the Warehouse District, that continues to grow. More people moving down there all the time. New buildings coming online, some warehouse conversions, some built from the ground up. The convention centers right there on the river, the Superdomes on the other end. It's tough to beat. The walkability is incredible. There's no other city in America like it. It's a European masterpiece, and it is by default, indirectly set up for big events and tourists and conventioneers and people to come here and enjoy it. Now, I've covered a few Super Bowls in other cities, and I've mentioned this on the program before. I would say in at least half of the Super Bowl cities, if not more, and I'll just use New Orleans as an example to make it easy. One team would be practicing in Laplace. The other team would be practicing in Slidell. They'd have a press conference in Mandeville and another one in Gretna. And you've got to drive to those 4 spots in one day. Go from Laplace to Slidell to Covington to Gretna. That's how most cities operate. You know, it's all part of Metro New Orleans, no doubt. But how often does someone from Laplace say, man, going to my friend's house for dinner tonight in Slidell? And then the next night, the folks in Slidell are going to their buddy over in Laplace. It's like a, good hour drive or so. That's how most cities operate. You're covering Super Bowls in other cities. There isn't a compactness. You have to get a rental car. You can't walk from one venue to the other. The hotel rooms are scattered all over the place. There's just very, very few places like New Orleans. I guess the next best place would be like Las Vegas, where there's a walkability factor. But boy, talk about just a boring, cultureless place. Just, outside of casinos and some good restaurants and maybe some good shows at night, there's not a lot going on there. There's no history there. There's no architecture there. There's zero culture. None. Zero. None. It's like a wasteland almost. But most other cities, that host the Super Bowl, Los Angeles, it's getting in a car, driving 45 minutes, sitting in traffic to go from one venue to another. And then you got to get back to your hotel, and then you got to get to the stadium. And it's not easy. And because all these cities are similar, they get away with it. But Philadelphia Eagles owner, like 3-4 owners ago, this is 40 years ago, Norman Brayman was the guy's name. He owned the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll never forget this. He's like, the Super Bowl should be in New Orleans every single year. Every single year. And he's almost right. I'm in full agreement with him, but trying to be fair and equitable about it. Obviously, the NFL's in it to make money. They really should have it, and I've said this before on the show, South Florida year 1, Southern California, but LA, San Fran Metro year 2, New Orleans year 3, year 4, a rotation of Dallas, Atlanta, Phoenix, maybe Houston, and then year 5, a repeat of year 4, that rotation between Phoenix, Dallas, Atlanta, and then the wild card city that builds a new stadium for their team that gets a Super Bowl. We've seen a Super Bowl in New York. They pulled it off. It was 50 degrees. Could have been 19 degrees and sleet. That would have just been a disservice to the teams, to the fans, the whole 9 yards. They got lucky. But I promise you this. The NFL is not dying to get back to the Meadowlands in New York for a Super Bowl. They're saying there's no need, and we got lucky we dodged the weather bullet. They've gone to Indianapolis because they built a stadium. They've had a you could thank Peyton Manning for the stadium, for the Colts staying in Indianapolis and a Super Bowl being played there. They went to Detroit a couple of times. They've been to Minneapolis. They'll never go back to these places. They built the stadium, they awarded them the game, and they can't risk the weather being bad and or these cities really aren't, New York is, but these other cities really aren't set up for lots of tourists and, ease of getting around. So it's one and done. So the NFL will continue what they're doing. Hopefully, New Orleans gets a Super Bowl quicker than every dozen or so years. It was ridiculous in the beginning. It was almost too good to be true. Our first Super Bowl was 1970. 2 years later, we get one in 72. Then we get one in 75. Then we get one in 78. Then we get one in 81. I mean, 3 Super Bowls in 6 years, 4 Super Bowls in 9 years, 5 Super Bowls in 12 years. Now we get like one every 12 years. We were getting 5 in 12 years. Now, that was way back in the 70s. It was a lot different. The thought was South Florida, Miami, California, New Orleans, and then maybe some other wild card city. I think Houston got one at like Rice Stadium once back then. But New Orleans was in this regular like 3-4 year rotation. 70, 72, 75, 78, 81, 86, 90. Then it started getting spread out, 97. Then we get one in 2002. Then it was 2013, and now 2025. So between the first two, it was a 1-year gap. Between Super Bowls 2 and 3 in New Orleans, a 2-year gap, a 2-year gap, a 2-year gap, a 4-year gap, a 3-year gap, a 6-year gap, a 4-year gap, then 10 years, and now 11 Super Bowls in between. So I like the Norman Brayman plan of New Orleans should host a Super Bowl every year. It's the perfect spot. But I would just like to see that 5-year thing done where New Orleans is guaranteed a Super Bowl every 5 years. South Florida, either Tampa or Miami, guaranteed a Super Bowl every 5 years. Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego gets an NFL team again, they could be in the California rotation. So New Orleans every 5 years, South Florida every 5 years, California every 5 years, Dallas, Atlanta, Phoenix. Those cities rotate. They're going to, year 4 and year 5, they're rotating. So they're going to get one about every 8 to 10, 12 years. Who wants to go to Dallas, seriously, or Atlanta for a Super Bowl? You're going because it's your team and you're happy to go, but you're not going because it's some tourist destination. There's nothing culturally sound about Dallas or Atlanta. Like I said before in the show, I envy their economies. Booming economy, booming population, lots of growth, lots of money to be had. But boy, no culture. You can say the same thing really about Phoenix. Not a lot of culture going on there. Anyway, kind of a dream. Hopefully this big gap, there's a saturation of new stadiums. It's not like a decade ago where new stadiums were popping up every other year in the NFL. Teams are pretty set. I'm not saying there won't be some new stadiums built or upgrades to existing ones. There will be, but not as much as there was, less than a generation ago. So hopefully the NFL, the owners, the league itself sees how great New Orleans is, our compactness, 40,000 hotel rooms within a half a mile of the Superdome, the convention center right there, the French Quarter right there, great restaurants, great music clubs, great bars, lots of culture, lots of history, lots of architecture, just a tourist destination where conventioneers want to go. Now, hopefully the NFL kind of gets their head straight wrapped around that and embraces the city. And one out every 5 years may be a little strong, but every 6 or 7 at the worst. These 10, 11, 12-year gaps, way too long for New Orleans to be hosting a Super Bowl. And Jeff Duncan's tweet, Swifties discovering the indisputable truth that NFL Super Bowl fans have known for decades. New Orleans is the greatest big event town in America. And it is. It truly is. That's a great tweet by Jeff Duncan. No, the Swifties have taken over New Orleans, the CBD, the French Quarter, the Warehouse District. That doesn't mean us locals aren't still here. Got to check out the Pels tonight, maybe Tulane tomorrow morning, LSU tomorrow night, Saints Sunday afternoon. How about doing it at legendary Tracy's? Bigger and better than ever. Magazine at Pleasant, where the local fans check out the games, plus a great roast beef po' boy. Make it Tracy's. Magazine at Pleasant.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters, and you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Hey, after I get out of here, I'm going to head to Smoothie King on Jefferson Highway across from Oshner. I live in that kind of Carrollton neighborhood near Pigeon Town, right by the Sewage and Water Board, right by the parish line where Claiborne's and Jefferson Highway meet, right in that area. So there's a few Smoothie King choices for me. But as I've said before, all Smoothie Kings are not the same. different hours, different franchisee owners, all of that. I like Jay and his dad. They've been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. They own 2 Smoothie Kings, Jefferson Highway across from Oshner and the old Metairie Smoothie King, Airline at LaBar right by Causeway, by the Rouses in that shopping center. No, I like Smoothie King. I like, the nutritional value, get a little protein kick, avoid a meal replacement, that type of stuff. You're trying to lose weight, gain weight, meal replacement, whatever, Smoothie King's got you covered. The problem is I've noticed, and I'll watch them make my smoothie at some other locations. I'll be like, oh, aren't you supposed to use the big scoop of protein on that? Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm like, yeah, I'm right. I'm the customer. You're the person that works here. How are you making that mistake? And it was happening a lot. I got, immune builder. You didn't add that. Oh, I forgot. It's like, wow, you charge me for it. Or, supposed to be open at 7 a.m. and I get there at 7 a.m. and it's dark. Or I get there at 7 and there's someone that says, sorry, we got here late. We're just setting up. Can't make your smoothie. Or they close at 8 and I get there at 7:45 and they say, we're already closed for the night. Or we've cleaned up everything. I'm just like, you're supposed to be open till 8. Yeah, we closed early tonight. We were slow. It's just like, really? That just kind of, made me X out some of these locations and find the ones that do it right. And I stumbled into the one on Jefferson Highway across from Oshner. Noticed that there were always at least 2 people working there, sometimes 3. They had a sense of urgency. Even if there was a line, you were in and out within like a minute or 2, not 15, 20 minutes. Making the smoothies right every time, consistently. Then I met the owner, Jay, and found out about him and his dad, and they've been Smoothie King owners and operators for decades. So, yeah, I like the 2 Smoothie Kings that I go to. Jefferson Highway across from Oshner and the old Metairie Smoothie King, Airline Highway or Airline Drive at LaBar by Causeway, right by Rouse's in that shopping center. No, there's a big difference between them. And Jay and his dad do it best. Yeah, I'll be heading over to Smoothie King on Jefferson Highway after work, right across from Oshner, getting a Gladiator vanilla, get a little immune builder or muscle builder in there, a little immune support. Keep the, lots of folks are in town. Don't want to get sick. Smoothie King, Jefferson Highway, Smoothie King Airline at LaBar. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Taylor Swift performing tonight at the Caesars Superdome tomorrow night, Sunday night. 60,000 plus expected each and every night. The show will last for over 3 hours. This is Halloween weekend. Halloween's what, next Wednesday, next Thursday? Was it Wednesday? I'm going to have to check the calendar so I'm not wrong on it. Next Thursday is Halloween night. The weekend after really isn't going to work. It's November. Halloween was Thursday. So the weekend before this weekend is New Orleans Halloween weekend. And we are a destination city for Halloween. I don't know people that like travel to maybe they go to Vegas or New York or something, but they're not going to other cities for Halloween. New Orleans folks go to New Orleans for Halloween from around the state, from around the region, from around the country. We have a little tourism spike because of Halloween. Now we have this Taylor Swift show, which has brought folks from not only around the state, the region, and country, from around the world. Because they're looking at the Taylor Swift schedule. They're looking at all the cities. They're like, do we want to just go check out Taylor Swift in anywhere USA? Or do we want to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone and go to a great city to visit like New Orleans? So there's a reason there are 3 shows and not 1. There's a reason they chose New Orleans and the Caesars Superdome. I was downtown. I was down in the warehouse district. I was in the French Quarter. Earlier today, I had lunch at Doris Metropolitan, that wonderful steakhouse on Charters about a block off of Jackson Square. The French Quarter is humming. It is packed with people. About 1 out of 3 people are wearing Halloween costumes. That was today at lunch, all around Jackson Square. I posted a little video walking through Jackson Square, brass band playing the whole 9 yards. You can check it out. About 1 out of 3 people dressed up in Halloween garb. And it is packed. The hotels are at capacity. Restaurant reservations are booked. Music clubs, everybody's heading there. Bars, watering holes, museums, the cultural things during the day, history, architecture. No, we're nailing it out the park. Coupled with this ridiculously great weather, I mean, wake up to the 60s. It peaks out around 78, 79, 80 degrees, lower humidity. You're not perspiring. It's just beautiful. It's gorgeous outside. It's incredible. I was in New York like 8 weeks ago, like early September. The last couple of days I was there, it was like 55 degrees. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it got cold. You know, I was like, wow. We're short pants and T-shirt weather right now in New Orleans. You know, morning, midday, night. It's just absolutely perfect weather. Blue skies, hard to find a cloud. Just absolutely incredible. So this weekend is going to be a huge economic impact for the city. Thank you, Halloween. Thank you, Taylor Swift and the Swifties. And thank you, Mother Nature, for this fantastic weather. What's that, Blue Boy? Thank everyone for checking us out today and all week. What's that, buddy? Moo, you're mooing like a cow. What? Monday. Oh, tell folks to come back on Monday, straight up 4 o'clock on radio, on television, on YouTube. Have a great weekend. See you Monday. Good boy, Blue Boy. Down, buddy.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Yep.
On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333.
Correctamundo.
Also on YouTube.
Yes.
On radio at NOLA Talk 93.
Blue Boy, quiet. We have a legal ID to do.
It's 6
Good boy.